Hey everyone, and welcome back to MMA Alerts. Let's start the day with Jon Jones firing back at the MMA community. It's clear that Jon Jones is getting a little tired of the argument that he wants to fight Stipe Miocic next because it's an easy fight. He keeps denying that he wants to fight anyone else next. Jones tore his pectoral muscle last year, so his fight with Miocic in November had to be pushed back. Since then, Bones has stuck to his plan to fight the former champion next. Jones says that his greatest heavyweight fight is against Miocic because Miocic is widely thought to be the best heavyweight of all time. But people who don't like the fight have said that Jones should fight Tom Aspinall next since he has the temporary belt. Some people have also said that Miocic is skipping Aspinall because he wants to fight Miocic instead because Miocic is almost 42 years old and hasn't fought since 2020 when Francis Ngannou beat him badly. Jones recently responded to fans by saying that the consensus GOAT is pushing the Miocic fight because it's an easy one. I just watched a new interview with Stipe. He sounded excited and driven, and he looked and sounded incredibly healthy and fit. I don't understand why you guys don't care about Stipe or what he's done. You people are so funny. It is crazy to call the best heavyweight in the history of our sport a retired warrior. I don't want to be him reading this. Someone else said that Jones was just trying to get himself excited about the fight because it wouldn't be competitive. That's when the controversial star said this. Now, it should be said that some people think Miocic could really hurt Bones because of his size, his wrestling background, and yes, his hitting power. We all have different ideas about how this fight should go, but it's clear that the UFC is going ahead with it. Jones said in a tweet that has since been deleted, that's in line with recent comments from Dana White, who acknowledged the fight could happen in November. Next, Hamza Chimaev gets a message from Kamaru Usman. It looks like some of the excitement about Boris has died down since Hamza Chimaev barely beat Kamaru Usman last October. In fact, some fans have said that the fight may have shown that all the excitement about Chimaev wasn't necessary. Usman won't say that Chimaev isn't all that, though. As you may remember, Usman decided to fight Chimaev at UFC 294 after his first opponent, Paulo Costa, had to pull out because he had a bad staph infection. Many people think Usman is one of the best welterweights of all time, but a lot of people still thought Chimaev would easily beat the former champion. Chimaev won by majority vote, but the fight made some people wonder if Boris will be a great boxer for years to come. Not long ago, Usman went on the pound-for-pound show and slammed people who have been making fun of Chimaev. Indeed, many middleweights, even the best ones, would likely have a tough time going up against Kamaru, let alone going through him. It's, after all, about a guy who is an all-star wrestler, does cardio for days on end, and has big hands. If Chimaev beats Robert Whittaker next month, everyone who says he's too good will be gone faster than you can say Bobby Knuckles. Next, let's look at Bilal Muhammad's attack on Sean Strickland. It seems like once a week or more, Sean Strickland gets into a fight on social media or exchanges words with another fighter. His latest opponent is Bilal Muhammad. Yes, the fact that Strickland doesn't really feel like a trigger or filter is one of the things that has made him one of the most divisive and controversial fighters in the game. In any case, Nanodrama recently posted a video on Instagram of her pulling a clever joke on Bilal. That made Strickland tweet, if you told him that in person, he would walk away with his head down and then try to fight you on Twitter, LOL. Strickland was quickly answered by Bilal, and the welterweight hopeful didn't hold back when he did. That's what Sean means when he says he's going to fight you to the death. He's going to jab you and play defense for 25 minutes. Sean will walk outside with a gun and record you if his ring camera sees you as a kid or poor person who isn't dangerous. This will make it look like he's crazy. Sean is most likely going to cry if he does a show. From now on, it will be interesting to see if Strickland responds and how harsh it might be. Next, news about UFC fights. Yes, the UFC is still adding fights to their schedule for June and July. Several more have been reported or revealed. Marcel Dorff recently said that the featherweight fight between Charles Jourdain and Gene Silva on June 29th at UFC 303 will be very interesting. Jourdain from Canada lost by split decision to Sean Woodson in January, while Silva from Brazil beat Weston Wilson by stoppage in the same month. Dorff also recently told everyone that Kellen Laughlin from Ireland and Ramon Tavares from the United States will be putting hands at UFC 304 on July 27th. Iano Ayil of Sevier MMA was the first person to report on the bantamweight fight. After beating Angel Pacheco by decision in March, Laughlin is back in action. Tavares, on the other hand, won his last fight by split decision over Siri City in January. Finally, the UFC has set up a must-see flyweight fight between Alex Perez, a familiar face, and Tatsuro Taira, a growing star. The fight will be on the UFC card in Las Vegas on June 15th. Last month, the American Perez clearly showed that he is still a threat at 125 by bombing Matias Nicolau out. On the other hand, Taira of Japan stopped Carlos Hernandez in December, making it 150 for him. Now that those fights have been revealed, let's talk about Brendan Shaw's response to Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey has been in the news in the world of mixed martial arts, but not because the former champion is getting ready to fight again. Not at all. As you may know, Rousey just put out a book in which she criticizes several MMA personalities. Brendan Shaw was one of them. Rousey dated him for a while before she started dating Travis Browne, the man she became married to. There was a fight between Browne and Shaw back in 2014, and Shaw had the worst night. Browne knocked out Shaw close to the end of the first round. Indeed, Rousey is said to have written in her book that she enjoyed seeing Browne beat Shaw. She also said Shaw was playing tricks on her while they were dating. It was no surprise that Rousey's words about Shaw were talked about on the Fight and the Kid podcast. Following this, Shaw said he didn't really get why he was named in the book or what Rousey meant. Like, it's not mind games when she says it, as if the mind games really did come from her camp. That's what was bothering her. That's a different problem she can solve. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't work out at her camp. I am not aware of the code. I did nothing. That has nothing to do with me. For what it's worth, I think she means mind games when she talks about them. It didn't work. It wasn't true. Okay, then you were there at that time, so you knew this. I would say, guys, I don't know what to do. I love having her as a friend. But when it came to that, I was like, dude, that's not my thing. I found my soulmate. She's not my type. There you have it, even though it looks like Rousey would. They'll likely say the same thing. Next, let us look at Kamaru Usman's first thought about Leon Edwards' fight. Bilal Muhammad will fight Leon Edwards for his welterweight title at UFC 304 on July 27th. This was reported a few days ago. It seems that Usman heard the news while he was recording the Pound for Pound show. Leon has some interesting things to say about the fight because of Usman's past with him. One example is that Usman said he hopes Bilal wins while he was telling the story. In the end, Usman wants the present welterweight champion to win. So much has changed in the sport to where the guys are learning how to use the cage to get there, so much so that it's almost not even wrestling anymore. If you knock someone down close to the cage, they'll just use it to get back up. And I don't think Bilal Muhammad is a good enough fighter for me to put him in the middle of the cage and hold him down. That's it. There's no doubt that Edwards' record is full of wins over well-known fighters. He beat Usman twice and Colby Covington most recently. Of course, it's also important to remember that he faced Muhammad before in 2021, and there were no takedowns until he poked Muhammad in the eye by accident, ending the fight. Let's look at Conor McGregor gets a warning for his fight with Michael Chandler. We finally know that Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will fight at UFC 303 on June 29th. For months, people have been speculating about when and if they would fight, who will win the much-talked-about fight. The answer changes based on the person you ask. The odds at the start of the fight make McGregor the favorite to beat Michael Chandler, and there are a lot of people who think Notorious will win. For one thing, Chandler is going up to welterweight to fight McGregor, who has been looking very big and toned. This story also says that McGregor's world-class hitting power will be a deciding factor. Bloody Elbow recently caught up with Chael Sonnen, and the American gangster didn't waste any time arguing that Sonnen had a good chance. Yes, even the biggest McGregor fans should understand why some people aren't sure about the... I don't care what the odds are. The previous champion is going to win at UFC 303. After all, we're talking about a man who has only lost once since 2016 and has been in the news a million times for different accusations and scandals, which Sonnen has also brought up. Is the star who has way too much money really still committed to fighting? We'll see, right? MMA fans are mad at Conor McGregor because he shared a video of himself sparring with someone who looks like they're just starting out. These are the things that MMA fans said. As always, lazy movement.